Let's look at curve snapping now, and this gives you the ability to snap nodes and control handles on your curves that you've drawn with the pen tool or edited with the node tool equally. So taking a look at this example, this passion project piece, we can just zoom into a particular area of the design, the top left hand corner, and we can enable the node tool to expose a whole series of nodes and control handles when they're selected. So I said previously that curve snapping is completely independent of global snapping. So you'll see there that the global snapping option is disabled. But what we do have is these options along here, and this is on the context toolbar for both node and pen tool. And we have initially this enabled option. We're going to have a look at that now because this is aligned to nodes of selected curves. And with this enable, we'll be able to just move nodes by just dragging them, and we'll see that we get a red horizontal line to indicate horizontal snapping and a green vertical line to indicate vertical snapping. And when the two come together at a particular point, an intersection point, you'll get both guides displaying. Looking at the second option, snap to geometry of selected curves, you'll be able to just drag this node instead of in line with a particular node like this. We can align it to the geometry of the same curve. You can see that yellow snapping indicator indicates geometry snapping. What we'll also be able to do is on another curve, if I just select that with the Shift key, if I then drag that further over, it'll also be able to snap onto a completely separate curve. This is one curve and this is a second curve. I'll just adjust the control handles there for aesthetic effect. Just drag that back and just onto there, you'll see we can just reposition that onto there like that. Okay, I'll undo a little bit, just back to where we were. I'll show you a slightly different example. I'll just take away this endpoint off here. Just delete that. And then what I'll do is I'll select these two nodes together and enable this snap all selected nodes when dragging. So this means that when I drag these nodes here, I can drag them down to a little bit further down. Just zoom down a bit to say here. And we'll find that you can have snapping vertically shown by the green line and horizontally by the red line at the same time. So this is very good for node alignment on the horizontal and vertical axes, if you like. So I'll just undo a little bit and then just come back to where we were with the original arrangement. And I'll just switch off some of these options and then show you a third option, or the fourth option, which is align handle positions using snapping options, which is a new option to version 1.7. And this means that you can align control handles to the geometry of the same curve. You can see we can do that there and here as well in the same way. You can see that one moving down along that curve. And you'll also be able to snap into node positions as well. See if I can snap up to the node up here. And also if you want to enable a grid, you can snap to grid positions with the same option enabled and with snap to grid. I'll just put snap to grid enabled here. You can snap into grid positions just like that. You can see that snapping there and there. In fact, on any intervening or intersection point on the grid, you could snap to. So I'll just switch the grid off and the global snapping, and I'll just jump onto this last option, and this one is perform construction snapping. And what I want to do is to first of all take away this last node there. I'm going to concentrate on this segment here. I'll just zoom in a little bit to this area too because it's slightly detailed. Back to the node tool. So just select this end node, and we've got these two pairs of control handles. Now, what construction snapping is all about is the ability to snap those control handles to the adjacent nodes or to adjacent control handles in different ways. So let's just have a little walk through this. So I can drag the control handle to snap in line to adjacent node, this node here. You can see that purple line forming. I can snap it to 90 degrees of that node. You can see the line there at 90 degrees. And I can create a reflected angles between the adjacent control handles. And you can see just here, the angle that's formed here and here is identical. You can see that there. And now if I release the mouse button and then press Shift, I can not only get the control handles to be of the same angle, but also of the same length. Now you can see this on the control handles. If I just drag here, you'll just see two double markers pop up. They're very small, but they indicate that the control handles are of equal length. Instead of aligning to angles, you can also align to a shape, in this case a logical triangle. So if I move this control handle just up slightly to about here, and then drag the opposite control handle left and right, you'll find that at a particular point, just there, you'll see that you have a perfect logical triangle between the two nodes, and it'll be able to formulate a nice curve from that. Okay, let's snap that control handle to be parallel with the adjacent control handle. You can see the control handle there showing snapping into place. And I can lengthen this and shorten it. And if I release and then use the Shift key once more and drag, you'll find that I can get a control handle of exactly the same length, but also parallel with each other. We can snap to 90 degrees of the opposite handle. And take the control handle in the opposite direction to create an S shape. Again, we'll get snapping. And if we release the mouse button and then press Shift again, we should get a control handle of the equal length.